Hello everyone, welcome back to another Warhammer 40k 8th edition battle report. Today we have 1500 points of the Iyanden Craftworld Eldar versus 1500 points of the Tau. It's going to be the last showing of this particular table layout. We'll get it switched up to something different for next time. Not sure if that'll be in time for something for Halloween or not. We'll just have to wait and see. It just depends on things. Anyway, let's get on with this and take a look at the two armies that are going to be seeing this table off. So one new painted edition. This is the exact same Eldar list as last time, still getting everything kind of readied up. Hopefully their next showing it'll be completely painted, and then in the future we can look to getting rid of the Wraith Knight and adding some more miniatures that are also painted. But if you didn't see it last time, just going to very quickly go over this. This is obviously Iyanden, everything is Iyanden. The Warlord trait for the Spirit Seer is the Iyanden one, which is not relevant here because Tau don't have Psychers, but the list was not tailored for the Tau. We've got based but still not painted, one squad of Wraithguard, another squad of Wraithguard, a squad of Wraithblades with axes and shields who are in a Wave Serpent, which is now painted with Shuriken everything. We have the Wraith Knight equipped as you see him, and then we have two Wraith Lords also equipped as you see them. Well, kind of. Everything is Shurikens. Shuriken everything. And the Iyanden Craftworld trait is that you can never lose more than one miniature from a failed morale test, and anything that has bracketed health, which is basically the whole backline here, counts their remaining wounds as being double whatever they actually have for the purposes of working out whether they're working with diminished stats. Forgive me, I forgot to mention, but the Spirits here has Quick and Restrain. I also believe I accidentally called it a battalion. The other army here today is a battalion. This is a Vanguard plus a super heavy auxiliary, obviously, in the form of the Wraith Knight. I think that covers everything I missed. Quick and Restrain. Oh, and he has the war gear, the Systronome of Iyanden, which he can double the number of attacks that nearby Wraith constructs have, but then units that take that buff at the end of the phase take D3 wounds. And here's the Tau list that's going to be played today. Battalion plus super heavy auxiliary as well, being led by this little lad down here, I was going to call him the Farsight Enclave. The whole army is the Farsight Enclave. This is the Cadre Fireblade. Fire, 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 fire. Through Unity, Devastation is his Warlord trait. He's being backed up by a Cold Star Commander, the Suicide Commander with 4 Fusion, who's not the Warlord because he's just going to charge in there trying to do some damage before he dies. 3 5-man Fire Warriors. We have 6 drones, they're all going to count as shield drones. We have 8 Pathfinders for the Marker Lights. 2 missile spam broadsides as they come, Hammerhead with a railgun, a Riptide as you see it, so fusion, the collider thingy, and then we have finally the Storm Surge with its many guns, and it's paying for, the lighting there is very bad, it's paying for the shield generator, which is super expensive, 40 points if you want it on a Storm Surge, but required when the enemy army has strength 16, I guess. So, that's the two armies. Let's see what randomized mission we're playing. Alright, let's generate the mission, as I said. So the objective, kill the courier. At the start of the first battle round, before determining who has the first turn, each player lets their opponent know which of their models in their army is the courier. The model cannot be the warlord and must already be on the battlefield. The first player to slay the opponent's courier wins the battle. It's like VIP then, like protect the VIP. Okay. Deployment. Okay, that's just the stereotypical, I always forget if it's Hammer, Anvil, Dawn of War, but it's the basic long edges, also fine. The twist. Acid Rain, we've seen this one before. So subtract 1 from all hit rolls for shooting attacks, subtract 1 from all advances and charge rolls, but at the start of every next turn you roll a dice. On a 4+, the rain stops, but then on a 4+, it comes back. Very bad for the Tau, that. Very bad, because the Iyanden didn't just want to get in there. That's what we're playing though, so we'll be back with all this set up, ready to go. So here we are at deployment, starting with the Tau's side. Basically, thanks to this board being marked in 12-inch squares, it's up to a little line you can kind of see there to do this deployment type. So anyway, we've got the Riptide here. The messenger for the Tau is this gentleman right here. The Chasui, whatever he's called, the leader of this Fire Warrior squad. So he's right in here, nestled between 2 giant mechs. Then we've got the Fireblade Warlord, Fire Warrior Squad 2, the Pathfinders, Fire Warrior Squad 3, very squished together just to be inside the deployment. We've got the Hammerhead, the Shield Drones, the Broadside, and the Cold Star. Nothing off the table. And again, very Untau-like, not just huddled together in a corner. Technically could have done that to protect the courier, but wanted to force a very small Iyanden force to split up, I guess. So we come over here. The Wave Serpent is deployed up to the line, the Wraith Blades and the Spirit Seer are in there. Wraith Lord number 1, Wraith Knight. This is the unpainted Wraith Guard are the ones that have the Courier for this side, this guy right here. And then we have Wraith Lord number 2 and Wraith Guard Squad number 2 as well. If I ever confuse all the Wraith names again, apologies, but they're all very similar. So, thanks for having so few miniatures or squads. The Eldar are going first, unless the Tau can steal the initiative. Ooh, nearly, but they did not. So we're back with Eldar Turn 1. At the end of movement in Psychic for the Eldar's first turn, everything's basically abandoned this right flank over here because the Courier is over the other side. So we've got the Wraith Lord moved up here, the Wraith Knight moved his full allocation right into the middle of the map. This squad kind of just shuffled to the side. The one that's facing the wrong way is just to remember which one is the Courier. The Wave Serpent, which has star engines, which I think I forgot to mention when going over the list, it's just 2d6 that you add on for its advance rather than 1. So it got 26 total movement, it's moved over here, hoping to drop off the cargo once they get over the other side of the map. This Wraith Lord moved up a little bit. This Wraith Guard unit ran, or advanced, sorry. Then it also had Quicking cast on it in the Psychic phase for an additional free movement phase, putting them right there. And that's it. Not many models moved, obviously, because they don't have many models in general. Let's see what happens after the shooting phase. So at the end of Eldar Turn 1 proper, the Wraith Knight didn't have a good turn at all. It fired its giant Wraith cannons at the Riptide. Both wounds got through, put it down to its 5+ invul on those 2 wounds. It would do d6 wounds each, or d6 damage each. And 2 6s got rolled, so no damage from there at all. His star cannons, sun cannons, whatever they're called, just shot at the Pathfinders. I think it killed 2 of them. Both Wraith Lords were out of range with their shuriken catapults, so could only fire their shuriken cannons. This one shot at the Riptide, did very well, did some wins. This one shot at the Pathfinders, killed 3 I think. In the morale phase, the Pathfinders did not do well, and 3 more died in the morale phase, leaving just 1 surviving. Over here, the Wraith Guard that got moved up by Quicken, 2 of them were in range to shoot their D-cannons at the, or Wraith cannons, whatever, at the Riptide. They got through though for d6 wounds each, did 7 wounds, leaving it on 7, then it lost 2 more from the shuriken cannons here. So Pathfinder's almost wiped out, Riptide below half health, but other than that they weren't able to do anything. Over now to Tau Turn 1. So no Psychic phase for the Tau obviously, but at the end of their movement the broadsides are kind of stuck out here, so they've moved round. Cold Star's shot up the table because that's what it's for, drones following close behind. Then we've got this squad, oh, didn't move those. They'll come forwards probably to shoot at anything. The Hammerhead just pivoted so it can see the squad that's most in danger of attacking the Courier. The Pathfinder stayed still, as did these here, the Firewars. The Cadre Fireblade moved up to buff, give them the aura buff. The Storm Surge moved a little bit. At the end of the shooting phase it will be putting its stabilising anchors down though. The Firewar squad with the Courier is running around behind it to get away. The Riptide just fell back a little bit so it could shoot at the approaching Wraith Guard. Alright, now let's see how the Tau do in their favourite phase. So at the end of Tau Turn 1 proper, you might be able to see the damage they've done already. The heavy cluster systems of whatever they're called, of the broadsides, fired at the Wraith Lord over there, as did the smart missile systems, which didn't need a line of sight anyway. The Cold Star Commander with the 4 fusion shots also fired into the Wraith Lord, did most of the work. The Cold Star Commander, he was lingering on about 3 wounds right up until the Storm Surge split some of his weapons onto him, but we'll get to that in a second. The Hammerhead, his smart missile systems shot at that Wraith Lord as well. The main cannon fired its submunition rounds at the Wraith Guard over here, did a couple of wounds. The heavily wounded Riptide took off the last wound of the one that you can see that's died there. This Firewar squad and this Firewar squad just put shots. This one actually shot into the Wraith Lord to no effect. This one couldn't reach, so it shot into the Wraith Knight. Actually took off 1 or 2 wounds. Then it came down to the Storm Surge. His big cannon shot at the Wraith Knight, which did 2 wounds all said and done. His cluster rockets, his smart missiles, didn't fire destroyers, and his burst cannon were out of range. They all shot into the heavily wounded Wraith Lord and did exactly enough to finish him off. So that's one of the 2 Wraith Lords dead, along with one of the Wraith Guard, as we move into turn 2 for the Eldar. Oh, as a quick addendum, we totally forgot about the Acid Rain twist on the match for turn 1. So we're going to count it as, rather than being in effect automatically from turn 1, then a 4+ it turns off in turn 2. We're counting it as coming into effect guaranteed for turn 2, and then it's 4+ as to whether or not it's on or off from that point onwards. Apologies, just totally slipped our minds. So the Acid Rain is now on, that's -1 to shooting attacks, not physical, but shooting attacks, advances and charges. In a movement and psychic for Iyanden Eldar Turn 2, this squad of Wraith Guard has moved up, just normal move, no advance. Wraith Knight shuffled slightly to the side to deal with the Cold Star Commander because his 4 Fusion Blasters hurt a lot. The Wave Serpent advanced, rolled 2 1s for the Star Engine advance, but got there. Smite was cast on the Fire Warriors, killed 3 of them. This Wraith Lord has moved up ever so slightly with them, and this Wraith Guard unit just also did a normal move, hoping to finish off the Riptide just to take some more guns off the table. That covers it. Not going to be much shooting, especially with the Acid Rain now being remembered, but let's see what happens after the shooting is done and dusted. At the end of a very effective shooting phase for the Eldar, despite the Acid Rain, which was remembered this time, come over here, the Wraith Knight shot its big cannons into the Cold Star Commander. Only 1 hit got through. It does d6 wounds. It did 6 wounds. He only has 6. So he is dead. He was out of the 3 inches required to pass off the wound to the drones, which was a little misplay in his placement. There is going to be an assault, which we'll cover after the shooting phase recap, but the Wraith Knight is going to be charging Fire Warriors here in the building. The Wave Serpent, shooting on 5s, well, because it's normally hitting on 4s, but it advanced, so that's -1 to shoot an assault weapon, plus -1 again for the Acid Rain, so shooting on 5s. Fired its Shuriken Cannon into the remaining Pathfinder and killed it, and its twin Shuriken Cannon, it's Shuriken Cannon, Shuriken Catapult. Fired its Catapult into the Pathfinder, twin Shuriken Cannon into the Fire Warriors here and killed them. Did very, very well despite hitting on 5s. Actually, I think 2 survived, but they were wiped out by the Wraith Lord there, who also split fire and wounded the Fireblade ever so slightly. Over here, the Wraith Guard, the ones that could reach, shot into the Riptide. Only 1 hit got through, but he only had 5 wounds remaining, and has destroyed him as well. Heavy casualties there, despite the Acid Rain, despite some advances as well. Now it's going to be the assault phase, to see what happens over here. So much for there being an assault phase. The Wraith Knight rolled appallingly and failed to charge. The rapid firing Fire Warriors didn't manage to crack the toughness 8 to do any wounds. So that's it, that's the turn over entirely. Over to Tau turn 2. At the end of movement for Tau turn 2, the Courier squad has advanced as best it could from behind the Storm Surge. Didn't get as far as it would have liked. The Fireblade has kind of positioned himself along with the Hammerhead. Storm Surge stayed still, so its stabilizing anchors basically negate the Acid Rain, just so that there isn't enough room for the Wave Serpent to slot itself in to cut off the route of retreat. Over here, the drones have moved in front of the... Oh, something falls behind me. The Fire Warrior squad, blocking them off, and the broadsides with their slow movement is just... They've just shuffled around a bit so they can kind of see in this direction. They might be firing at the Courier squad for the Eldar, I guess we'll see, as we move on to the shooting for the Tau, rather. So at the end of turn 2 proper for the Tau, both of the broadsides spammed all their missiles into the the Wraith Guard at the back here, the ones that have the Courier. Killed 2 of them, the morale held, so we didn't lose another 1, but got dangerously close to doing some damage to the Courier there, and that was despite them moving, yes, plus the Acid Rain, yes, so they were hitting on 6s, but just sheer number of shots. Now I know what it feels like to fight orcs. But anyway, over here the plan was shoot everything at the Wave Serpent to kill it. The Wave Serpent took it like a trooper, honestly. Only got down to 10 wounds, and that was rapid firing from this lot. The Hammerhead moved, so it wasn't hitting on great shots, but everything fired into it, including the 2 Seeker missiles. Everything on the Storm Surge shot into the Wave Serpent, including the 4 Destroyer missiles, so that's them gone for the game. And it stood on 10 wounds remaining, The Fireblade shot at it, and everything, and only did what? It starts on 14 wounds, I think, or 13. It did not take enough damage for the level of fire that we shot at it. Acid Rain obviously helped it, but anyway, that's it. That's all for their turn. So we're going into the third turn for Eldar, but first, we should probably roll to see if the Acid Rain stops. On a 4+, that's a 2. It did not stop, so the Acid Rain is still in effect for turn 3. So at the end of movement and psychic for Iyanden Eldar, you can see they've been very, very aggressive. The Wave Serpent has hopped over here just to block the way for retreat. The Wraith Knight is moving up very cockily. The Transport left the Wraith Blades and Spirits here where you can see, well, further back, but then they moved. And in the psychic phase, oh, this Wraith Lord also moved up. In the psychic phase, Restrain was cast on the Courier Squad, which means they have their movement characteristic until the next psychic phase. Keep them where they are. And this Wraith Guard unit advanced, got quite a good roll. I think they got 10 inches in total, so they're coming around here to attack the Storm Surge. This could be bad for the Tau. Let's see what happens at the end of the shooting phase. End of what was a fairly muted shooting phase for the Eldar, I would say. The Wave Serpent just shot into the Hammerhead, didn't manage to do anything. The Wraith Lord fired into the squad with the Courier, only managed to kill one of them. This Wraith Guard unit over here, they were hitting poorly because they advanced, so it's -1 plus -1 for Acid Rain, to be fair, but they utterly whiffed. The Storm Surge didn't do anything to it. The only thing to have a good turn was the Wraith Knight, which fired everything into the Hammerhead and has left it on 4 wounds remaining, and now it's going to try and charge it, so we'll be back after the assault phase. At the end of Eldar Turn proper, we had what I think is officially called in the 40k rules an uh-oh, because something pretty hilarious happened. So the Wraith Knight charged the Hammerhead, the Wraith Lord charged the Cadre Fireblade. The Wraith Lord actually took 1 or 2 wounds on the way in, not that it matters. Easily destroyed the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead can explode. It rolled a 6, so it exploded. Everything within 6 takes d6 wounds. The Wave Serpent took a couple, I think, although Serpent Shield brings the damage down by 1. This Fire Warrior squad wiped out. Wraith Knight took 4 wounds, I think. Wraith Lord took 5 wounds. Cadre Fireblade took 4, he had 3 left, so he's dead. And more importantly, the Courier Squad took 6 wounds, that's why that's sitting there. It was a 6, there was 4 of them left. They're dead. The argument could technically be made based on the wording of the mission. Since it was a friendly unit that killed them, it's impossible for the Eldar to win, because it says the first player to successfully eliminate the opponent's Courier. But obviously that's taking rules as written to extreme degrees. But just technically, because a Tau unit killed the Courier for the Tau, that's not an enemy unit. You know, so technically the Eldar have not killed the Tau Courier and cannot kill the Tau Courier, but the Courier is dead. So, anyway, it's basically impossible. The Tau cannot win. The best they can hope for is a draw. So we're going to play their turn 3, even though the card says it's supposed to end as soon as the Courier dies. That's a little short. We're going to give the Tau their turn 3, because if they can shoot enough smart missiles over this bit of scenery over here, there's only 3 of them left in that unit. There is feasibly a chance they might be able to kill the Courier for the Eldar as well. It's not likely they'll survive another turn, however, because the Wraith Knight and the Wraith Lord will kill the Storm Surge, or just tie them up in combat. Same with the Wraith Blades and the Broadsides. So we're going to play Tau's turn 3, see if they can kill the Courier, but then that's going to be it, because we've reached the endgame condition of this randomized mission. So at the end of Tau turn 3, the only thing that mattered was whether or not they could kill the Courier, which as you can see they have not. The Storm Surge moved up at 6 inches, had to move its stabilizer and anchors up obviously to do that. Broadsides moved there 5 or 6 as well, the only things in range and that could fire, because smart missile systems don't need line of sight. So that was 2 sets of smart missiles over there, 2 sets each over there, all firing in, all said and done thanks to Acid Rain also lowering ballistic skill by 1. A couple of wounds, which obviously were not put on the Courier, put on him. So that means that the Courier lives. If we did do a Eldar turn 4, the Wraith Lord could tie up the Storm Surge, the Wraith Knight plus the Wraith Blades could easily tie up the Broadsides, there's no chance that they could get over to the courier. So we're going to call that one there. That was really quick, but we'll be back with the final recap in a second. So you do have to ask yourself there, if we had remembered Acid Rain for turn 1, would that have changed anything? For both sides. I feel like the Eldar did not do hugely well on their turn 1 shooting. The best thing that happened was the Riptide going down to like 5 wounds. The Tau did better on their first shooting, which is probably to be expected. So if anything, I don't think forgetting Acid Rain turn 1 affected the full results. However, it can be argued, well, what if Acid Rain had been in effect turn 1 and then in turn 2, where most of the shooting for both sides happened, what if it hadn't been in effect there? Tau would have been a lot better. Actually, you know what? In Eldar turn 1 they took the Pathfinders down to a man, so that was removing the marker lights. So yeah, honestly that could have made a difference. Just totally forgot. We did stick with kill the courier though, which is an objective that can make the game end very quickly. Imagine if either side had deep strike stuff. It would have made it even harder to avoid a quick game. It's probably one of the quickest games of 40k played in quite some time. Obviously helps that the Eldar side has 20 models on the dot. More of them will be painted in the future though. The ideal for this pseudo army eventually is not to have the Wraith Knight taking up so many points, and get that out of there every so often, replace it with more Wraith Guard and another HQ, maybe like a Farseer or something like that. There's plans, but this was just to have it table ready as quickly as possible. So the next time you see a 40k battle report, it will be on a different table layout. Hope you enjoyed this one, even though it was short though. Thank you very much for watching. Go check out the other content if you like, including some videos showing the painting process for the Eldar. Thank you for watching, and ta-ta for now.